Morning, good morning,
Okay.
Will.
It is the 6th of March, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos, Esther.
All right, very good. Good morning again. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst teaching Zoom. This is our first year this morning, and we are now continuing the second chapter of Megillas Esther. Let's see, we left off with Pasuk Ches, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Very good. Who would like to read? Any volunteers this morning?
I'll volunteer.
Okay, very good. Go ahead, Lou.
All right, so I'm in the Megillah. Vayihi v'hi shama devar hamelech v'daso uv'hikavetz ne aros rabos el shushan habira el yad Haggai v'vatilakach Esther el beis hamelech el yad Haggai shomer hanashim. So it means when the king's word and law were publicized, and when many young girls were gathered to Shushan, the capital, to Haggai, Esther was taken to the palace to Haggai, keeper of the women.
Right, so Esther's been captured now. Okay.
Right. I'm wondering about Esther. Esther did not want to go, and yet didn't they know that she was? Didn't they know from prophecy that she was supposed to go?
I'm not so sure. I don't know. Don't forget that this is nothing's really happening now here. I mean, there's no we haven't even been introduced to Haman officially yet. There's no Gezerah there's no official Gezerah yet. There's no everything seems fine. Everything seems fine. The king is getting a new queen. Happy days are here again.
Right.
So I mean, in terms of I'm sure Esther wasn't the only Jewish woman taken to the king. I'm sure it was a very, very bad situation for the Jews. They have to give up their daughters to go to the king and never see them again. It must have been terrible.
Right.
I've got here that Vatilokach Esther, Esther was taken. That's the language of force.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
So that only reinforces the point to be made over here that it was not a very pleasant situation. Let's see the medrash here, pasuk ches.
Vayihi v'hashama devar hamelech. And it was when they heard the word of the king.
Yes.
Devar hamelech zeh tzivui levakesh lo isha. The word of the king. This was a command to Vakesh means to request,
Or to seek, or to request, to seek.
to seek for him a wife. Ka'anin she ne'amar ne'amar pisgam hamelech. Like the subject that is stated, and he said, what is pisgam?
Isgam, if I'm not mistaken, that's like that's in like an official decree.
So a decree of the king.
Right. Like an edict, right.
Vadsu. What's vadsu?
With that, it says that it said he bishmoye davar melech with daso, and his das, meaning his intentions, his policy, his policy.
And the policy of the king, Zeh din shasa vivashti. This is the judgment that was done to Vashti. Shnei Amar Kidas ma lasos Malka Vashti. As it is stated, according to the law of what was done to Queen Vashti. Devar acher b'daso. Alternatively, the word daso, his intention, or his decree. The yos kol ish shorer b'veiso. That it should be that every man is shorer, is the leader in his house.
Right. The ruler bebeso, the ruler in his house.
The ruler. Okay. So I move on.
Good. Yeah, let's go to the next pasuk.
Okay, back to the Megillah. But Titav ha nara be'enav sa chesed lefanav vahel es hatzirumeha ve'es mino seha las la the ace sheva hane ros hare you os la seis la mi base hamelech vayesha veha the es naaroseha the tov base hanashim. Okay, so the young girl pleased him, was good in his eyes.
That seems to be a reference to Esther, right?
Right, because the previous pasuk, it says Esther was brought to the house to Haggai.
Oh.
And now the next thing it says is the young girl pleased him. So she's the subject at this point, I think.
Right. It's talking about that in the eyes of Haggai, who was the minister for the women there.
Right. Yeah, because Achashverosh hasn't seen her yet.
That's right. Correct.
Okay, so uh and let's see, Bene in his eyes, but Tis'a Chesed. Uh my English does not match my Hebrew. Chesed, what's Chesed?
Yes, it is usually some type of kindness or mercy.
Right, so my English says he gave her cosmetics. Oh, he did kindness to her, I guess, by giving her cosmetics. Uh,
Oh.
uh, as well as portions which were to be given to her. Uh, and the 7 suitable girls who were given to her from the king's house. So she was given maidens to help her.
That seems to be different than what the other girls got.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really say.
Right.
Well, it's
Uh,
the next thing says, he favored her and her girls with the best of the harem.
right.
The Tov base Hanashim. But my note that I wrote in here says that it doesn't mean that he favored her, it means he transferred her.
Transferred her.
But Vayashaneha, I have a note that says transfer.
Interesting. Okay.
He gave to her from the house of the king, and he transferred her to the house of the women.
Interesting. Okay. Let's see the medrash here.
Okay. Tet. Vati tav hanara ve'enav, etc. So she found favor in his eyes, etc. Vayiv hal es timiroke. What's timiroke?
We've to Morocco. Those were I think, the cosmetics, I think, no?
Cosmetics. So he gave her the cosmetics. K'inyan shene'amar v'nason chamerokehem. About the subject, that it says that he gave her cosmetics. The Es Sheva Hana'aros, and the 7 girls. Kederech Sheyesh Lamelech Sheva Sarim Roim B'nei Hamelech. According to the way that there is for the king 7 7 ministers that see the face of the king. 7 ministers that enjoy direct access to the king.
Right, that was mentioned before, right? Well, that was mentioned earlier in the those 7 that were mentioned in the pasuk, right?
Right. Right, Memucan was one of them. Cain Lamalka Sheva Hanaros Ruoios Lasesla. So similarly, for the queen, 7 girls it was appropriate to give to her. Amar Rava Shehaisa Moneh Bahen Yemei HaShabbos. Rava says that it was Moneh is to count.
Right,
They counted with them the days of Shabbos. Oh, in other words, there were 7 girls corresponding to 7 days.
right. That would enable Esther to know which day was Shabbos. I mean, we take it for granted. Of course, you know what day is Shabbos, obviously, right? But
Mhm.
it's hard for us to imagine, Esther being locked up in the harem and, didn't have, didn't serve cholent in the gefilte fish in the harem there on Shabbos night and day. They didn't. Once you're supposed to know it's Shabbos, right, Roy?
Right, but also it's got my note here in the Sefer that it enabled her to keep her identity as a Jewess a secret, because the maids would assume that whatever they saw her doing on that particular day, that's what she did from the other days as well. So that when the maid that she had on Shabbos saw that she was resting or not working, she would assume that that's what Esther did on the other days of the week. So,
Right. Very
yeah.
good, because each one wouldn't know what the other one was doing, right?
Hmm.
I don't know what I don't know what they did. What did they spend the time doing in the harem all day and night? What did the women do in the harem all day and night?
I don't know. I'll send you a ticket.
Okay.
Idea.
I don't know whether they were crocheting, weaving, sewing. Who knows what they were doing?
Hmm.
Making socks for George Washington. I don't know. Anyway, so
Um,
so this is all a very special treatment. We see that Esther's getting special treatment from the very beginning here.
Hmm. This is via Haggai, isn't it?
Yeah, this seems to be Haggai is initiating this on his own, right? That's the way at least that's the the way the pasuk is putting it. There seems to be an initiation of Haggai's own initiative. No,
And Haggai was Haggai, wasn't someone else.
well, this is the. I think there's a prophet called Haggai. That's with a ches, Haggai. This is Haggai. This is actually Haggai. It's with a hey,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yes.
So I don't know exactly who. Let's see. Haggai. I could try who. Look, he apparently he was probably in charge of the women long before Esther came along, right?
Yes. So it wouldn't be somebody else. Suppose.
Right. Uh, Probably not. Uh, See, actually, um, this actually, I think the only time he's mentioned, he's not really mentioned any time before, other than this particular point.
Hmm.
Uh, um, just trying to see. Um, No, no. Okay, yeah, seems to be special. This is also the divine intervention. The Kadosh Baruch Hu is involving Esther getting special treatment here from the very beginning. Um,
Mm.
second.
Thank you.
Hydrate.
Okay, let's continue on. Let's see the next pasuk.
I didn't actually finish this one yet.
Oh, go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
Shekol ma shehayu vakshos haya nosein lahem. Everything that she requested was given to her. The Esther Isa Ocheles Me'achol Yehuda Yehudi Im Naroseha. And Esther, she ate from what was eaten.
She ate Ma'achal Yehudi Ima Naroseha. Esther Haisa Ochelis, so they could everything everything they wanted to be given, they were given. Esther Haisa Ochelis Ma'achal Yehudi Ima Naroseha. Vein Adam Margish Bashu Yehudi, but no one realized she was a Jew. Now I'm not sure. I don't know what that means exactly. What does it mean that she ate? I thought she ate seeds. I thought she ate seeds. No.
Maybe it means she ate things that were not treif, even though they weren't necessarily kosher. That would qualify for seeds, right? In other words, she ate things that she didn't say, get me kosher food, because that would be too obvious. But she said, get me bananas and oranges and whatever. That things that you can eat, even though they're not specifically kosher food.
Could be. Although the expression here is Michael Yehudis. I mean, it seems to indicate like it's Jewish food. Seems to it's specifically Jewish food,
Ah.
seemingly.
It's hard to understand how she can keep her secret then.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to understand how that fits in here. Second. Um, one second. Says it's yeah, there's a they bring down that she ate shades roim. That's actually the Mishnah Brewer is going to bring this down. We get to the Sudas Purim in the Mishnah Brewer, it's going to be there somehow a minhag that they eat zroim on Purim as a zeker to uh, what they eat. Um, All right, not exactly clear. All right, let's continue on.
Okay, back to the Esther.
Megillah, yeah, let's go back to the Megillah, right?
Lo higida Esther es ama ve'es moladita ki Mordechai shiva aleha asher lo tagid. So Esther did not tell her people and her birthplace, because Mordecai commanded her that she should not tell. Okay.
Okay, so it's so Rashi says here, if you have the Rashis there, why she shouldn't tell? Kedei sheyomru shi min mishpachas bazuya v'shalucha. That Mordecai said to Esther that she should not mention to whom she was of which nation and where she was born. Kadesh Yamru she mushpachas bazuya, in order that they should say she came from a lowly family, and I guess like sort of destitute. Shim yodeh shim mishpachas shoyel amelach hayem machazikim ba. Because why? Because if they would find out that she was from the mishpacha of Shaul, again we said that Ishimini, Mordechai was Ishimini, when that came from Binyamin, right? And Shaul was also from Binyamin, correct?
Right.
And Shaul Melech was from Binyamin. So, and Esther, if we learn that she was related to Mordechai, if she was a boss of Mordechai, so that means she would also be directly from Mishpacha Shaul. So Rashi's explaining this in a way that you don't have to think that Mordecai has something more deeply involved that would have to involve like Ruach HaKodesh or something like that, right? According to Rashi, Mordecai the question is, why was Mordecai telling her not to reveal her background, her nation, and where she was born? What's wrong with that? Right? What's wrong with that? So what would you like to say? Roy, you have any opinion, or Mayor, or Lou? Was
Mordecai have Ruach HaKodesh? He had, didn't he?
Mordecai was a prophet. He was considered to one of the prophets, I think, and he certainly had Ruach HaKodesh, yes.
In that case, he probably had some idea of what was going to happen. Maybe not exactly or anything like that, but I think he probably understood that in the future this would be an advantage.
I can think of two reasons that don't would necessitate going to prophecy. One is anti-Semitism, that Ahasuerus hated the Jews, and there was a lot of other people that hated the Jews, and if it's known that she's Jewish, she would be subject to that hatred. Maybe he wouldn't even accept her as queen in the first place. He knew she was Jewish. And the second thing is that part of the friction between Ahasuerus and Vashti had to do with the fact that she was of royal blood. And according to some opinions, he was a commoner, and he was sensitive to the fact that people would say, "Oh yeah, he's just gotten in there on her coattails." So if it becomes known that Esther was also of royal blood, he might say, "Oh no, not again. I'm not gonna get into this problem again."
Yeah. I'll go along with those two opinions.
Right. Let's look at Rashi. I don't know. Do you have the Rashi's in front? Do you have any Rashi in front of you? Look at it inside. Look at Rashi's explanation.
I don't have Rashi.
No.
I have my
Yeah.
it doesn't have Rashi.
Right. So again, I'll tell. So Rashi says that um, Rashi says as follows. I'll read it. Kedei sheyamru shayi mimishpacha bezuya v'yishluchecha. That in order that they should say that she's from a disgraceful family, and send her away, right? And send her away. She said, "This, if they, if you're from this, you're that," so then they would send her away. So that seems that Rashi's learning that's the Kavanah. Mordecai would like her to have been released from this, meaning he was hoping perhaps if they wouldn't find out where she was from, that maybe they would say, she's really from a lowly family, not worthy of being brought into the monarchy, and they would maybe release her, right? And why Rashi continues, Shim Yodu Shumim Shpaka Shol Hamelech, if they would find out that she was from Shol HaMelech, she was from the family of the royalty of the Jewish people. They would hold on to her. They would value that. So according to Rashi, right, Rashi seems to say that first of all, it was a ploy, part of Mordecai's command to Esther not to tell who she was from, was a ploy to try and get her released from having to get herself involved with the king. Because if they would know she was from royalty, that would be an advantage to her, because they would seemingly want somebody from royalty. Can you hear?
Yeah, I hear it. It's the opposite of my reasoning, but it makes
Right,
kind of
right.
Yeah,
Right.
I've just seen here a note I didn't see before. Even Ezra explains that the purpose of her secrecy was so that she might secretly observe her religion. Had she declared her faith, she would have been forced to transgress.
Huh.
And according to Vilna Gaon, Mordecai was afraid that his family and nation would be killed for having kept Esther hidden for so long and for not surrendering her voluntarily when she was finally discovered.
Uh-huh.
No,
Okay.
Was they had multiple wives, didn't they? There was
Well, I mean, the king had a queen. I guess there was only one queen, but I guess he had a lot of concubines and stuff like that.
because was Vashti if Vashti wasn't executed, then and she wasn't divorced, then where would that leave? And she was so that she was still queen.
Right.
Where would that leave Esther as being called a queen?
Well, I mean, she was at least she was banished. That the pasuk said earlier that she should be banished. We mentioned it never really mentioned specifically in the Megillah itself that Vashti was killed. Rashi, if I'm not mistaken, we didn't get to the Rashi there. I think Rashi says that Vashti was in fact killed. Most I think learn that Vashti was in fact killed. Some, as you said, she was sent into exile, and the plain reading of the Megillah is that she should be banished. So I don't think there would be much competition between Esther and Vashti at that point. And she's still in a state of banishment.
I'm thinking about the legality, sort of
Yeah,
not
they what? Go ahead.
not about competition. I'm not thinking about would she be able to be made a queen, Esther, if Vashti was still queen in name, although she was banished. Anyway,
Um, Okay, it's not clear. Um, not clear. I guess there are a few different ways we can go with this. Um,
I mean, if she was,
let's see.
there's no problem. If she wasn't killed, there may be a legal problem,
Right. Okay.
a royal protocol.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't matter in the end. In the end, it was as it was.
All right. Okay. I mean, fine. Very good. Okay, I think let's continue on with the next. Let's see. What does our measures say on this?
Lo Hagida Esther es Ama. Esther didn't tell of her people. Af al pi shehaya me achla mashuna me Michael ha malchus. Even though that she was eating, what is this word? Mashuna?
Michael McCullough, even though she was eating a different food from the food of the king, meaning everyone's sitting down to shrimps and lobsters and snails, and here she's eating gefilte fish.
Right. Even
Strange,
so,
no?
she didn't reveal her people, and nobody figured it out apparently.
Yeah, I guess they didn't know about gefilte fish then.
Um, they didn't have any kosher delis that I guess at that time.
Yeah.
Lo havinu ba ki haya Yehudis. They didn't understand that she was Jewish.
Right. They didn't realize that she was Jewish.
Mordechai tziva aleha asher lo tagid, that Mordecai commanded her, don't tell. Shalo tis vazeh be'enei hamelech. What's this tis vazeh?
She shouldn't be she shouldn't be belittled. Shouldn't be belittled in the eyes of the king. If she found, apparently Mordecai, according to this medrash, apparently not. This is like the opposite of Rashi. In order, Mordecai gave her the command in order that she shouldn't be disgraced or belittled in the eyes of the king. Meaning,
Oh, that goes
apparently,
with my anti-Semitism line of reasoning.
right, that if she would find out that she was Jewish, that would be a disadvantage for her, because that would be something disgraceful and displeasing in the eyes of the king. There is a way of understanding this that also with your concept of well, the Jews were a captive people, right? The Jews were a captive people. So that might be the the point here. But again, right, Rashi's learning that she would be found out to be from the lineage of Shaul, which would actually, if Achashverosh was looking for a queen, that would be in one sense a positive thing.
Right.
On the other hand, Achashverosh was dead set against the rebuilding of the Beis Hamikdash. So he wouldn't really want, it wouldn't be such a good thing for him to have a Jewish queen.
Right.
All right. It's a little bit nebulous what the exact reasons were for Mordecai to tell her not to say. Obviously, there are a couple of different opinions and different viewpoints on the subject. Okay, something to look into more, have more time to look into it. Okay, let's continue on though in the meantime. Right.
Bedad lahagid hadavar ba'asu. And it was appropriate for her to tell what is ba'asu.
Hadavar bitu, ukadei lahagi hadavar bitu, and in order to say the thing in the proper time, meaning it was premature to mention. He was waiting to the proper time for her to reveal this. Maybe this could bring it to the point. Maybe he was doing this with Ruach HaKodesh a bit.
Right. Ki'inyan shene'amar ki ikaka ochel isi v'gomer. Like the subject that is discussed. What is ikaka?
And this is a pasuk. Let me see. I have to see let me see if I can look up the pasuk quickly. One second. Second. Oh wow, that's a pasuk. Okay, wow. That's a pasuk later on in Perek Ches pasuk Vav. Let's take a look at it. You have the 8th chapter, the 6th verse.
Okay, chesvov. Okay, this is 7. Here's 6.
Right here.
6. So it says, for how can I endure when I see the evil that is overtaking my people? How can I endure when I see the destruction of those who gave birth to me? So this is in the party with Achashverosh and Haman, after she reveals her the fact that she's Jewish.
Right. So that was the time that she had to reveal her lineage. That was the time that was destined that she make the best use of just to say to Achashverosh who and where she came from.
Hmm.
Okay, so we were looking at this word ikaka.
How can she bear?
Oh, is that in here? Ikaka. Ki ikaka ki a kaka. How can I endure?
Right, oh, that's it.
Endure. How can I endure, okel, eating, uriisi, and beating? What does she say here? How can I endure? Uchal, not okel, uchal. Being able to see,
Right.
able to see. Okay. So that's the end of Yud. Should we stop now for today?
Yeah, I think so. It's a good time. Okay, yeah, very good. So we're gonna start with Pasuk Yud Aleph tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem.
Amen.
Let's make a point of that. We'll continue Mitzvah Shem shortly in the Shir Mishnah Brew.
Hi, hello.
Brooke,
Yeah, thank you.
Pierre.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Have a good day, Roy.
You too. See you
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, Roy, have a good afternoon. Hope to see you tomorrow.